Healing Your Families. I'm Emmylou Penrod, your family relationship coach. And in this show, we pursue 6 areas of health for families: emotional, financial, mental, physical, social, and spiritual. My guest today is Alysia, and she helps people get out of stress mode and tune and balance their bodies using harmonic light energy. Alysia, welcome.
Thank you so much. I love talking with you anytime, Emmylou. I'm always inspired by you and your mission to help families. And you're just a wonderful friend of mine and counselor. And I just love learning from you.
Well, I love talking to you too. And I will tell you, you are the first person that made me realize that light is more than just getting vitamin D from the sun. I really did not know much about light energy until I met you and learned from you. So could you just kind of basically outline, what light energy is? How does it work?
Sure. And you're not alone. It's not a real common knowledge thing, but I think innately all of us in our bodies know that we need light. We're a lot like plants. We crave light and we need light in order to grow. Our cells need it in order to regenerate, and we need it to be happy. Most of us are not getting enough sunlight in our lives. We're very sedentary. We're indoors. We've got a lot of artificial light going on, but we're not real connected to that nature side and those really helpful wavelengths of light that science is just beginning to discover and ratify what we've been feeling biologically and innately and instinctually all of our lives and throughout history, I think. 'Cause most of the time we've had societies that have spent a lot more time out in the light. So most of us are pretty light deprived and we don't necessarily know it, but our bodies know it. And we see a lot of things happening with our moods and with our physical health and our energy that is tied into that. So as for me, I didn't know that I had a light deficiency, but what was really getting my attention with myself was depression and anxiety, especially after I had children. It was like I had postpartum depression, and then that just kind of continued for years and years. And I knew that I struggled with my energy when it was winter. I thought it was just because it was cold and I didn't want to move, but I was depressed. And that just kind of snowballed and continued for several years until I finally kind of woke up and realized I need to do something about this. This isn't normal. And it's not something that I'm going to be able to just fix with a better night's sleep that I was waiting for when I had newborns, or, with positive affirmations. There was a lot of things that I tried, and I did try to put in effort into it to, take nutritional supplements and exercise and get counseling and do meditation and yoga and oils and all those things that are good. They were good,
You
but
tried them all.
they didn't really support me enough to get me to where I wanted to be. And where I wanted to be was to be a really happy, effective mom. I had 6 kids by the time I found these lights, and I had been trying a lot of things to help me for the last 10 years before that. um, and they just they just weren't working, and I was feeling like a failure as a mom, because even though
Mhm.
I was putting all this effort, I was a stay-at-home mom, I was homeschooling, I was trying to make my family healthy food, I was doing all the things, there was lots of things I was doing out of love for my family, but they weren't feeling a lot of love because I was in stress mode all the time. And so even though I was doing all this and sacrificing all this because I loved them, what they saw and felt was frustration and anger and sadness and mom retreating so that she wouldn't blow up and, and probably taking on feeling the blame for that sometimes, or I was blaming myself a lot of the time too.
It sounds like a spiral, like it
Yeah, it
was.
really was. So I was in this place and I was about ready to look into pharmaceuticals, which I'm kind of a natural leaning person. And so I tried, sometimes those are necessary. But I was a little wary of them and I wanted to do everything that I could that could be natural. And I felt like I'd exhausted every option. And so I I was ready to go and make an appointment to get some pharmaceuticals. And it was at that point that I felt inspired to go to a conference where I found light therapy. And it looked pretty weird to me. It was foreign to me, just like it was to you when we met. But I felt drawn to it and I tried it. And it was the first time after I tried that light session that I felt really present in my body and like my mind was clear.
You noticed a stark difference after one treatment.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone has such a dramatic experience. Sometimes it takes more than once, but most people will feel a difference in their level of relaxation, because it really does help you get into that meditative, relaxed state that I had not been able to find. I was trying. I actually had been locking myself in my room for a little while every day, trying to just quiet my mind so I wasn't thinking about anything. And I set a timer for 3 minutes to see if I could do that. And I couldn't even do 1 minute. so so it was a really big challenge. And this got me quiet. And that's huge. I know it's foreign to most of us because we do have that mind chatter so much.
But it's
And so
essential. I mean, at some
yeah,
point, we need to be able to calm our senses. And
exactly. Otherwise, we can't heal. And that's what I finally learned after I got studying light therapy more is that our bodies cannot heal and our minds cannot heal as long as we are in stress mode, if we're in fight or flight, because all of the energy that we have is going towards that fight or flight. Our bodies think that we're under attack, whether it's real or not. And most of the time it's not real, but we've got a lot going on in our minds. It makes us feel like we're under attack. And so when that's happening, then all of our energy is going towards saving us, and worrying about this fight or flight. And so we don't have the energy to put towards the healing processes in our bodies that we need, and also mentally and emotionally we don't have that energy to process the things that we need to heal, to let them go, because our focus is elsewhere even if we don't realize it. And I know you understand that because you have worked in hypnotherapy and you get that.
when you were talking about the mind, absolutely. That's when you heal the best and the fastest. And they've done studies that show this. When you're in that deep, dreamless sleep, that's, after surgery, it's so important for patients to be able to reach that level of relaxation. And yeah, you can't heal when you're in
Yeah,
stress mode.
you have to really rest. And so I think that was the first time that I really rested from all that stress, and it was amazing. It was really powerful. So that's kind of where I came into understanding about light therapy and being exposed to it at all. And then I tried it in my home and I was like, what would happen if I use this every day? And my family, they were the ones that told me, Mom, you're nicer. You need to use those lights. You need to get those lights. And so we made the decision to get them and have them in our home so that I could use them every day. And that was kind of a wake-up call to me to realize that my family really needed and wanted me to do the things that would help me to be a healthy person. I think I knew that on some level, but
They
I did.
want they wanted a happy mom.
Yeah, and I was very happy to sacrifice time, money, and energy to help them with what they needed. But it always felt like, if I did that for me, then it would be taking away from them.
Mhm.
That moment, it kind of woke me up and realized that, I have to be high on that priority list of investing in me and taking care of me the same way that I do for my kids. And that's really hard for moms to do
Oh, it
sometimes.
is. It is. But airlines have it right. You've got to put your own oxygen mask on first.
Yeah. So this is kind of my oxygen mask, the light therapy, and I use it every day. It has made such a difference in my life and my baseline. I feel like it's improved. It's not like there's no stress in my life. Everybody has stress in their lives, and new stresses come in and things happen, and we get to learn to deal with new things. But
You can handle it.
I can handle the stress that comes to me, and I can handle their stress that comes to me in a healthier way. And they are always grateful that I do that for me. And so it's not just for me, it's not selfish. So um
Well, and they use it too, don't they?
yeah, they do. So as I was going along, I got to learn more. That's one thing that I love about this company that I got my lights from. They have education and they teach you if you want to learn about all the science behind the lights, because there is a lot of science now, especially they've been studying the benefits of light therapy and different wavelengths of light and color, and what they can do. So you're starting to see it pop up in, physical therapy and doctors' offices and hospitals and burn units, because there's so many
Chiropractors
things.
are
Yeah,
using it.
chiropractors use it a lot. It's kind of got similar benefits to lasers, but it's safe for, like, my kids can use it on themselves and they're not going to ruin their eyes or anything like that, because it's very safe and gentle with similar benefits. So it's actually FDA cleared for some things that they've studied for the physical side of health, such as like wound recovery and injuries, arthritis, pain relief, circulation enhancement, helping with inflammation. Um, there's so many things, and they've been able to see with their studies how it energizes our cells to be able to heal themselves. So like when we cut our finger, it makes a scab and it heals itself. And all the rest of the cells in our bodies and our brains even are designed to do that. But sometimes they just don't have the energy because, one, we're in fight or flight mode all the time. And two, we don't have enough nutrients that they need, whether through our diet or through lack of light, because light is actually a nutrient. That's what I learned. It's a nutrient that we need to power our cells. It lights up and recharges the batteries of our cells so that they can do their healing work. And there's not a cell in our body that can't heal if it has that right environment and the right nutrients.
And the different light colors
Yes,
have different.
different
That was
benefits.
what was fascinating to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's so cool because I think I always felt that just kind of as an artist and appreciating the beauty around me in nature and how different colors that I saw made me feel. But there's actually some scientific studies about how those colors of light, particularly, and certain wavelengths of those colors of
Yeah.
light affect us. So like that's one of the big ones, the red and the near infrared. That's just barely off of the visible spectrum of light. Those are the ones you see the most in like the physical therapy and the gyms and stuff like that, because they're really good for pain relief and for the circulatory system. And they can go deep into the muscles and bones of your body, even into the marrow of your bones. And then blue light has been studied, and they've been able to find that it is antibacterial and it helps to cleanse and it helps to calm. The blue and the red light together help to balance the nervous system, which was super important for me. And then they're studying some other colors now too, like green light for migraines and for it's very soothing when you are like in a green environment, a green forest. There's just something about it that makes you breathe better and you just kind of feel calmed. And that's the same with the green light. I find that
There's a
it's
lot of green in nature.
mhm. Yeah, so there's all kinds of things that they're finding, even like with amber light, with eyesight, and all kinds of amazing benefits that science is discovering. And then there's the other side of it, which is like the emotional, energetic side that they don't study, that I just felt. And that was the proof in the pudding for me.
And
But
you
there's
know
so much more.
how that helped you.
Yeah. But like nitric oxide, if people are familiar with that, some people take supplements to try to increase that in their bodies because it helps in so many ways with pain and circulation and other things. But light actually can help us to, it induces us to create our own nitric oxide in our bodies. And it's kind of the same with the vitamin D. You know, we still, it's important to get outside in nature. We need that. But like here in Utah, it's cold and wet and yucky for half of the year. And if I go outside, then I'm going to be all wrapped up and it's not going to give me a ton of light to my body anyway. And I don't like being cold. So it's a really nice thing to be able to spend 20 minutes a day and just receive some light. I can even sleep through it. I don't have to necessarily take a lot of time out of my schedule. And it just recharges me like a day out in the sun, or it feels like laying on a beach. What does it feel like to you when you do your light
Yeah,
sessions?
that's what I was just thinking. It's very relaxing and rejuvenating.
Yeah.
It's better than a 2 hour nap.
Yeah, I never napped before, but this is sometimes I'll take a nap with the lights in the middle of the day if I just need a recharge. And I always feel like I'm energized instead of groggy afterward. And so I love that. But definitely my kids have used this for a lot of different things, emotional things sometimes, as they're going through hormones and teenager stuff. My little boy that's 8, he has a hard time going to sleep sometimes, and sometimes I think he's just trying to stay up later. But when I have him use the lights before bed, then he just goes to sleep really peacefully, and he'll come and ask me for them when he's feeling worried, or when he has an owie, or if anybody starts feeling like they're getting sick. And that's the first thing that we go to is the lights, because it helps to get them out of stress mode, which is a lot of times a factor in our immune system not protecting us as well. And then also that blue light helps to take care of the bacteria and in the gut as well. Everybody seems to have gut health issues going on in our society, and it's really helped me and them to use light in addition to, being careful with our diets to help to balance some of that, which also affects our brains and our focus. And if anybody's stressed out or hurting or sick or anything, that's our first choice, because it's so gentle.
Psychotherapy.
There's no side effects. We've
Yeah.
got it here at home, and it's really effective.
And I found it effective for back pain.
Oh yeah.
Relieving back pain. I'm also using it to reduce blood pressure. So you're saying it strengthens the immune system because it lowers stress, and stress is, when let's face it, when we're stressed, we get sick much more easily. But it
Hmm.
also kills a harmful bacteria. And I know we need bacteria in our gut, but doesn't it keep
It
it
helps to
healthy?
balance things.
Balance,
Really
yes.
what it's doing, I mean, I don't like to say that it's doing all these things because, the FDA has only cleared us for certain things that we can claim. But what
Well,
it's doing is helping our bodies to do its
yeah,
job.
and the
Our
body
body,
was designed to heal itself.
yeah,
So the
exactly.
lights are helping the body perform its function.
Exactly. Yeah, it's supporting us, it's putting us in that environment of healing. And then our bodies are the ones, our cells know how to balance things and fix things and send energy where it needs to go when it has energy to spare. And so we're just trying to give it a boost and give it that environment in which it can heal. And that does wonders, really. Our bodies are amazing when we support them. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm also thinking of the impact this has. Now, you have a fairly, I don't want to say a large family, but
Yeah, I have
it's
7 kids.
okay. You have an active, and sometimes in a family like that, it doesn't take much for one child to trigger others, and it
Mhm.
can get rather noisy, sometimes contentious.
Yeah.
But I can see how this would help if it's getting people out of stress mode. You know,
Yeah.
there's always conflict in family life. You know, anytime you have two or more people sharing living space, there's going to be conflict. But if everyone is calm, if everyone is in problem solving mode rather than stress mode, it
Yeah.
can be handled.
Well, even if everyone isn't, one person can kind of
Mm.
be the change and help to change the whole mood of the family. And I like to call it a timeout that we like. I like being put in that timeout. Sometimes when I'm grumpy, my kids will be like, "Mom, did you do the lights today?" And it's not that I have to do them every day. It's not like a addiction or,
They
anything like
notice
that.
the
But
difference.
it supports me, and they'll just gently be like, "I think you should do the lights," because I'm being grumpy. I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That's a good idea." And then I get to take time out, or they get to take time out. And especially the little ones, they like it and they ask for it. The teenagers, sometimes they're a little different about,
We're
anything that's
resistant.
mom's idea or, but then I just try to make sure that I'm getting light so that my response to them is helping them and my energy is helping them. And the energy in our home is better. And I can still influence them even when they're being a
It's
stinker and they don't want to take care of themselves.
it's not a punishment.
No,
It's
not at
an
all.
offer.
Right.
Let's support your body
Yeah, exactly.
and your mind.
Hmm. Yeah. So I love that. I love how simple it is. And I love that, like, we don't have to know all of the reasons why we're feeling the way that we do.
Mhm.
I think that I put a lot of effort in the past into figuring it out, and that can be stressful too. And so I love that I can just kind of lay there and receive something without having to figure it all out. And then when I'm in that meditative state and I'm more peaceful, then I can actually go to those causes and figure them out and, do the work that might need to be done to change whatever it is that's stressing me out. But when you're in that mode, I don't know about you, but when I'm in that stress mode and I'm trying to work on myself, it just doesn't work. I
No.
might be doing it in my mind and, I might be saying stuff, but it's not getting into my body because my body's still saying, "Oh, I'm under attack." You know,
Well, and I totally agree with you
the
there.
work doesn't work
When
until we
we're
can get
we're
out of that.
stressed or angry, our emotions are out of control, we don't make good decisions. We're not thinking clearly.
Yeah,
We invariably say things that we regret later. But it's just like anytime you're in a conflict in the family, you need to take time, take 10, just say, let's continue this conversation when we both calm down.
yeah,
Because when you're, or let's both do a lights therapy session. And then when you're calm, you can think rationally, you can recognize, okay, this is something we need to change. Maybe it's a routine in the home we could change to make things run more smoothly. Then you can see much more clearly what needs to be changed, and you can do it without hurting anybody.
right. Yeah. Our stuff doesn't have to leak out all over everybody else because we're taking care of it. Yeah, it's so powerful just to work on ourselves that way.
So this is how to give your family a happy mom.
Yes.
What is that saying? If mama's not happy, ain't nobody
Really
happy.
happy. That's right. Yeah, that's so important and hard to do sometimes, but we've got to prioritize taking care of ourselves. And I guess what I would say, even if it's not light therapy, for me, that was the thing that I
That
need.
was what you needed. Yeah.
I would just say, for one thing, find a way to get more light in your life, get outside more, um, do the things that light you up. Find what that is that you're missing. If you're missing some nutrients in your life, figure out what those are and really prioritize that, whether it is nourishing foods or maybe there's some emotional or spiritual nourishment that you really need. And just, be willing to
Self-care.
Give a little bit for that, just like you give to your family, because we know that you give all the time if you're a parent. But it's okay to give some things to yourself. It's not selfish, and your family will thank you.
You'll be a better parent.
Yeah, for sure.
You take care of yourself first.
Mhm.
It's just like you can't teach your children how to manage their emotions if you can't manage yours. You
Exactly.
can't teach them to be confident if you don't feel confident. So you start with yourself, fill your cup first, and then you can pour out and serve others. It's so true. So true, Alysia. I love it. So
Well,
how
and we want our kids to grow up to be happy people and that care
yes,
for themselves too.
absolutely. So what's the best way for people to contact you? How can they learn more about this?
So you can find me at radiantwellnesslight.com. And I actually want to offer a gift to any of your viewers. I would love to do a distance harmonic session for you, light session. And or if you'd like to have a meditation audio sent to you that has to do with light, or talk with me. And all of those things you can access on my website. And I'll also give Emmylou some links that you can look at.
Well, that's a generous offer. Thank you for that. And thank you for joining us and helping us understand light energy, how it works, and how it can benefit families. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's so fun to be with you. I love talking to you anytime.
Well, thank you. So, for my viewers, join me again next week at the same time. Love yourself and love your family. Let's make the world a better place by strengthening families. This is Emmylou Penrod with healingyourfamilies.com.